date, it would seem you either love or hate the Windows Phone platform, but the new 930 might just have what it takes to tease a few users of Android or iOS thanks to Windows Phone 8.1 and the excellent Nokia hardware. I'm still an avid Android user at heart, sold into the Google ecosystem. It has been a while since I have really used Windows Phone, and when you ask a Nokia Lumia user what they think about their device, they often have few bad things to say. So I put the Lumia 930 to the test to see just how good it is. There is stiff competition on the market, and the 930 starts strong with its specification list. Whilst it lacks IP rating that is starting to become more common, the 930 is a very technically capable piece of equipment. At 167 grams and 9.8mm thick, the 930 is one chunky device in comparison to many others, but it does include wireless charging and a whole host of features, so maybe this can be excused. Whilst it is big and a little bulky, it is a bit of a beauty in my eyes. An aluminium frame gives the 930 a strong central core, and the polycarbonate back panel gives us the iconic range of colours that Nokia offer. It feels solid in the hand, probably able to take a few bumps better than some of the others out there. There are touches of curvature to the front and back, minimal but enough to give it a smooth and less square look and feel. Whilst the left edge is free of any ports or controls, the right edge has the volume and power keys as well as a two-stage camera button. The top of the device is home to the 3.5mm audio jack and nano SIM card slot. On the bottom resides a micro USB connector. The glossy front panel has 3 touch-sensitive keys despite Windows Phone now supporting software buttons. There is the earpiece, front-facing camera, microphone and Nokia logo. On the back there is no removable cover, but you have a loudspeaker in the lower right corner with the 20-megapixel PureView camera located centrally in the upper third of the back panel with a dual LED flash to the left-hand side. A microphone sits just above this too. The Lumia 930 is big and bold. It looks and feels like a workhorse, and while sleek and svelte design is very appealing, a robust workhorse is too. The 930 has a 5-inch capacitive touchscreen with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. The pixels per inch measures in at 441, which is not the highest of the flagship phones available, but it's well on par for a device of this type. Corning Gorilla Glass gives an added bit of protection and should resist the majority of scratches and impacts on the screen. The colours are generally very good with a good balance between them, and the blacks being particularly black. If you're a stickler for screen colour accuracy and temperature, you have the option within the settings to change the colour profile. The 930 does not do too bad really in bright sunlight either. It's readable in most situations. Naturally, a bit of reflection will always occur and fingerprints are visible, but it certainly seems to resist greasy fingers better than other displays. The screen is very responsive to touch and can be activated by a double tap on the screen when it's in standby. There is a bezel around the display, and it is by no means as slim as that on the LG G3 or Huawei Ascend P7, but it does not feel as noticeable as the likes of the Sony Xperia devices, and in my opinion is helped by many of the black backgrounds within the Windows Phone OS. The extra bezel thickness also helps retain an element of the robustness of the 930. It is very apparent that since my last encounter with Windows Phone that it has evolved quite considerably. The new notification center in Windows Phone 8.1 is an absolute blessing, as it gives quick toggles, which you can customize, along with a shortcut to the full settings menu. For anyone jumping from Android to Windows Phone, now is one of the best times to do so, as the transition is less painful than it once was. I was able to easily add my Gmail account, sync emails, contacts and more. However, if you're already deep in the Google ecosystem, many things will be a challenge and possibly one too far for some to make the switch. The home screen can accommodate up to 6 tiles across the screen now, meaning more information and shortcuts to the items that matter. It is simple to resize and reposition them. You can now get a bit more creative with customization by adding a wallpaper to the home screen. This relies on the tiles you have on the screen being transparent to see the wallpaper, and no tile at all does not mean you get to see the wallpaper. I understand why it is like this based on the tile system, but it is just a bit of a disappointment. Out of the box, there is a good number of apps and features available on the handset to get you up and running, and of course you can add more through the store. Whilst apps are growing, there is still a limit, and many will miss some of their favourites found on iOS or Android. Out of the box, the Nokia Lumia 930 has 32GB of memory, of which around 25GB is available to you as the user. There is no scope for expansion though, unless you take advantage of Microsoft OneDrive, which offers 7GB for free. If you wish to carry around your prized music collection, you may have to think carefully unless you use Mix Radio or Xbox Music, or one of the few streaming services available on Windows Phone platform. A different and bold look the platform has, but the live tiles and system layout can all become a bit heavy. It looks sleek and well designed, but as silly as it sounds, the focus on design makes too many things blend into one another and makes it hard to find what you're looking for. Yes, some tiles have a few louder colours, but if you have a few vying for your attention, your eye easily gets led. The settings menu, in my opinion, best illustrates this for me. Little graphic icons would be considerably more helpful. General performance was good, with little sign of slowdown or lag. One noticeable thing though is that the 930 runs warm to the touch. In fact, a lot of the time it runs very warm. Whilst within the tolerances set by Nokia, it runs warmer than my Z1 Compact, and that can get quite hot. The drawback of fitting so much into a device? The Lumia lacks little in terms of connectivity. Bluetooth 4, Wi-Fi including 5 GHz frequency, wireless charging, 4G, DLNA, GPS, GLONASS and NFC are all present. Video out and USB hosting are two features I feel are very desirable in a business environment. USB hosting is not present. The best you will get is sharing files by the cloud. And let's be honest, that's how most of us do it now, although USB host is great for larger files. The ability to project your screen onto another display or projector is possible with Project My Screen, but Nokia Beamer allows you to share your screen with anything else like a TV or PC that has internet connectivity. The audio experience on the Nokia is spot on for a device of this type. It does not pack the punch and sheer volume of the boom sound speakers in an HTC One, but there is good depth and strength to the audio that powers out from the 930 rear speaker. The positioning of the rear speaker means you're unlikely to muffle the sound, and for those who require an FM radio, the 930 has you covered. If you do not like what the Nokia produces, then you need to consider a DSLR, because there is no smartphone that can really provide quite the consistent performance that it can. The 930 uses the same 20 megapixel camera found in the Lumia 1520. The results speak for themselves. There is a good balance of colour with few signs of overexposure. If anything, images verge on the side of underexposed. A great feature of Nokia products is that they have a dedicated camera shutter button. Video recording is possible up to 1080p at 30 frames per second, and what is particularly noticeable is the audio quality. The microphones on the 930 do a great job of picking up what is going on and makes the video that much better. The camera offers 2x digital zoom, whilst up to 3x digital zoom is available during video recording. Particularly noticeable in video recording is how smooth it is. There are also lots of controls for manual adjustment if you want to get the best possible results, and if you're still not happy with the final result, Nokia Creative Studio allows you to add a few extra tweaks to the photo to make it just so. Whilst the results are good, there are some negatives. Most of the other flagships can now record in full 4K, albeit they are normally limited to 5 minutes. The 930 cannot. Whilst Nokia have aimed to make the camera and what it offers as feature-rich as possible, the lenses option is actually a whole series of apps you can add to the device to enhance the camera capabilities. It's a nice touch, but is perhaps a little confusing on first glance. With a fixed internal battery of 2420 mAh, I expected the Nokia to do pretty well, and that it did. At an absolute push, you might get 2 days out of it for a lighter user. A moderate user will get a good day and maybe nearly the full second if you're a bit clever about what you do. The power-hungry users will still be looking for a socket come bedtime, unless you're a media mogul, and then carrying a battery pack such as the DC50 would be a good option. It is the media-rich screen on time that kills the battery life, but for what I deem to be average use, which includes emails, telephone calls, some web browsing, and maybe an hour or two of video or media-rich content, then you can be confident that you can leave the house in the morning and you will not need to dock the Lumia 930 until your head hits the pillow. Coming in at less than £450 including VAT at the time of recording, the 930 has an aggressive price point against its iOS and Android counterparts, but it needs that to pull you in and be won over. Included in the box of the UK version is a wireless charging plate, which would normally add about another £30 to the price tag. There is no denying that the Nokia Lumia 930 is one of the best examples of a smartphone today. It is in my book the best example of a Windows phone. Whilst it does not have the sleek curves of Apple or some of the added features HTC or Sony bring to their devices, Nokia have put their own additions that in the most part work. It is slightly bigger and bulkier, but it feels solid and looks the part. If this is a disadvantage for you, this is easily outweighed by the camera, screen and audio experience the 930 has to offer. The OS is evolving, albeit slowly, and for anyone looking to switch, now is one of the best times. Just be aware of the limitations. If, however, you have a Windows PC, maybe a Windows tablet, then there is every reason to stick with Windows on your phone for that tight integration that you can get. The 930 is a superb piece of engineering, and I wish I was not so deeply integrated into the Google ecosystem, as it has a lot to offer. I hope Microsoft continue to provide such quality devices as they show more of their influences on what we know and love about Nokia.